Chapter 4, Symbols. In this exercise, we will insert various symbols in a report template and generate test reports. So let's go to Transaction Edit Report Template. This transaction can be accessed through SAP menu path, Logistics, EHS, Basic Data Tools, Report Definition, and Starting Transaction CG42. On the Edit Report Template initial screen, we enter the template name and version that we want to edit and click on the Hit List button. We see that the report template has a document status of in work. We can edit the report template by clicking on the document button on the toolbar or selecting the menu item, go to document. In this template, we see that the text test template training group was hard-coded. We will want to remove the hard-coded text and replace it with a descriptor symbol. So let's remove the hard-coded text and insert the descriptor symbol. To insert the descriptor symbol, in the parameter window, we need to click on the descriptor tab. There we see the default symbol for descriptors, EHS_L_text, and the default phrase library cust for customer. So we need to find the phrase key for the phrase text test template training group. So in the phrase text input field, we can type in the phrase text. We don't need to enter the full text. We can use a wildcard. And it finds the phrase key associated with this phrase text. Note that the phrase text is case sensitive. So for instance, if we entered test in uppercase and clicked on the find button, the search would fail. So we need to be careful to enter the correct case of the phrase text when doing a search. So now that we've found the phrase key, we're ready to insert the descriptor symbol into the report template. To insert the symbol, first we need to position the cursor at a position in the report template where the symbol will be inserted. In the parameter window, we select the phrase key and we click on the Insert WWI Object in Template button on the WWI Edit Object toolbar. Now we see that in the report template, the symbol is inserted. The formatting of the symbols should be familiar. The syntax is symbol type code 03 for symbol text, for symbol descriptor, the symbol key EHS_L_text, and in parentheses, the phrase key prefixed by the phrase library and separated by a dash. And at the end, we see the description of the phrase text. So let's perform a syntax check on the template. There are no errors, and let's save the report template. So now we're ready to create a test report, but before we do that, let's check the WWI settings. In menu path, Utilities, WWI settings. And check that a generation variant and specification has been specified for generating test reports. So that's already done, so we're going to keep these settings. We can create a test report by clicking on the Start Preview button on the toolbar or selecting Menu Item Document, Start Preview. The Create Report Using Template dialog box is invoked, and there you see that the default specification and variant are automatically entered. Also note that the default language is English in this case, and that this language can be changed to generate reports in other languages. So first, let's generate a test report in English. Now we see that in the test report, the descriptor symbol was expanded in the English language. We can toggle back to the report template and create a new test report by clicking on Start Preview. There we will specify a language of German instead of English. So now the test report will be expanded using the German language. We click on Display. And we see that the descriptor symbol was expanded in the test report in German. This is possible because the phrases have phrase texts that are in different languages. So when we specify a language when creating the test report, the phrase text in the appropriate language will be expanded. If that phrase key does not contain a phrase text in the required language, an error message will appear in the test report at the location of the descriptor symbol. So let's toggle back to the report template. Let's save the template. And let's take a look at the setup of phrase key WWI.01 and how this phrase key has multiple phrase texts associated with it. So we go to transaction CG12 for phrase management. We specify the phrase library customer, the phrase key, we select the phrase key and click on the item button on the toolbar. And there we see that for phrase key WWI01, there are two phrases assigned, one in English and one in German. So when a descriptor for this phrase key is inserted into a report template, we can expand that descriptor in two languages. So let's go back to the edit report template transaction. Let's go back to our report template. In the hit list, we can select the template and click on the document button to edit the report template. In transactions CG12 of phrase management, we saw that the phrase key WWI.01 contained only phrases in English and in German. So let's create a test report and specify a language of French and see what results are obtained. We create the test report by clicking on the Start Preview button. There we will select the language to be French. And we'll display the report. Now we see that at the location where the descriptor symbol was located, we get an error message stating that the phrase does not have a phrase text in French, which was expected. So let's toggle back to the report template. We will now want to insert a specification symbol into the report template. We will insert the symbol for the characteristic state of matter in the report. State of matter is under the specification symbol folder. But first, let's check that we have the correct symbol tree. The symbol tree, the property tree is set to standard, which is what we want, so we are fine. And let's go to the symbol state of matter. State of matter is located under folders physical chemical properties, under node state of matter, and here is the characteristic. What would we do if we did not know under which folders to find the characteristic state of matter? The alternative way of finding the symbol is to do a search on the symbol tree. We click on the Find in Symbol Tree button on the toolbar, and we enter the descriptor for the characteristic state of matter. It first finds the node state of matter, and if we do a find next, it will position the cursor on the characteristic state of matter. Notice that when the characteristic state of matter is selected, on the symbol tab of the parameter window, the settings for the symbol are preset with some values. The symbol type 01 for symbol is set. The symbol key for state of matter is set. There is also a setting for multiple value assignment. This setting is used in the event that the characteristic state of matter contains multiple values. If the characteristic contains multiple values, you can specify which values you want to appear on the report. For example, you could specify the first value, you could specify all the values of state of matter characteristic, you could specify a range also. So we'll keep this default setting since the characteristic state of matter does not have multiple values. The setting separator for multiple values allows the specification of a separator, in this case, comma. Other separators are available also for multiple values. We have tabulator, line break, and paragraph. The setting message for mandatory symbols will set the characteristic as a mandatory symbol, meaning that when the report is expanded, if no value is available in the symbol, a warning message will appear. This setting can be done on this window or in configuration when configuring the report symbols. Finally, we have the expansion mode. Since this is a phrase characteristic, the expansion mode is defaulted to GPC, and we will use the expansion parameter phrase. So now we want to insert this symbol in the report template. First, we position the cursor at the location where we want the symbol inserted. And on the toolbar, we click on the Insert WWI Object in Template. The symbol for state of matter is inserted into the report template. So let's do a syntax check to find out if there are any errors. And we have one error stating that the symbol for characteristic state of matter does not have a main repeating group. This occurs because the symbol state of matter is not within a repeating group. To include a specification symbol in a report template, we need to insert a repeating group and include the symbol within the repeating group. So let's go on the message tab. If we click on the message and click on the Go To button. The symbol will be selected in the report template. Now we click on the node state of matter, and we notice that in the tab repeating group, settings of the repeating group are preset. The repeating group is set to master group. The multiple value assignment is set to all, such as if there are multiple value assignment records, all the value assignment records will be selected within the repeating group. And the value assignment type of the node state of matter is preset. So now we're ready to insert the repeating group into the report template. Again, we click on the Insert WWI Object in Template button on the toolbar. And now in the template, the symbol is inside the reporting group. The reporting group is made of two structures: the beginning structure, which contains the repeating group type and the value assignment type, and the ending structure. Notice that the index number is automatically defined by the system when you insert a repeating group inside the report template. So let's do a syntax check. And let's create a test report. Let's run the report in English. And display the report. And now we see that the characteristic for state of matter is expanded in the report and the value liquid is displayed. Let's toggle back to the report template. Let's create a test report in German. So we'll select the language German. And now the symbol for state of matter is displayed, is expanded in German. Let's toggle back to the report template. And let's save the report. Let's add some headings in the report template to identify the different sections of exercise 4. I will hard code these headings. Okay, now we will insert a symbol which results in the output of a graphic. Let's put a header for this section of this exercise. Okay, we're going to want to insert a symbol for characteristic hazard symbols. So we will search in the property tree for that characteristic. And here we find it. We will use the expansion parameter graphic since we want to display a graphic. We will use the size automatic, and we will put the graphic in a text box. We are now ready to insert the symbol in the report template. We click on the insert button. We can see that the symbol is entered in a text box in the report template. We can resize the text box as needed, and the size of the symbol will automatically fit in the text box. Let's do a syntax check. Again, we get the error that the symbol does not have a main repeating group. So we need to create a repeating group for the value assignment type hazardous substance rating EU. So we can select the message, click on Go To, and we click on the value assignment type, and on the repeating group tab, the settings for the repeating group are set. We can then insert the master repeating group.